Mayor of Louisville, Kentucky, Craig Greenberg, responded to the mass shooting that took place in Louisville at a bank. Of course, I'm referencing here from CBS News. At least 5 people were killed in the shooting Monday at an Old National Bank branch in downtown Louisville, Kentucky, and at least 8 others were hospitalized. And I want to show you this mayor's response, calling for action, because so often, I was just talking on this show about a completely different mass shooting that this happens, and many more will follow. And both mass shootings and gun violence of all different types, until we do something to change that reality. But so many of our leaders refuse to do that. But let's take a look here at Craig Greenberg. First moment.
These are all important. These are all also long-term solutions. We have to take action now. We need short-term action to end this gun violence epidemic now, so fewer people die on our streets and in our banks and in our schools and in our churches. And for that, we need help. We need help from our friends in Frankfurt and help from our friends in Washington, D.C. This isn't about partisan politics. This is about life and death. This is about preventing tragedies.
Absolutely. And he had someone that he knew, a close friend, die at this mass shooting. Before I discuss further, here's a second moment from this press conference from Craig Greenberg.
You may think this will never happen to you, never happen to any of your friends or loved ones. I used to think that. The sad truth is that now no one in our city, no one in our state, no one in our country has that luxury anymore. Last year, I survived a workplace shooting. And now yesterday, I've lost a very close friend in another workplace shooting. 5 more families have lost a loved one. It has happened in Louisville. It could happen in Paducah, in Pikeville, or in Covington. This is happening in America everywhere, and will keep happening until we say enough and take meaningful action. Congressman McGarvey will talk about some things at the federal level.
And he's exactly right. We will keep seeing family members, friends lost at the hands of guns and those wielding them until we change course. And there are so many, I think everyone, hopefully my audience, if we could snap our fingers, would implement these policies, but it's not up to us. And the individuals who are responsible for implementing these common sense solutions to address gun violence, much of the Republican Party stands in the way of those solutions. And that has to be called out time and time again. And I will say, now until forever, yes, it's a multifaceted approach. Yes, there's multiple areas we have to focus on to generally address crime, including gun violence specifically. But you cannot honestly be interested in talk about addressing gun violence without talking about regulating the guns. So when people ask, why are you just talking about gun control in the wake of a mass shooting or gun violence of different types? It's because that is the one that there is a movement around blocking the implementation of those common sense policies. And that is getting in the way of saving lives. It's that clear. And if we continue to allow, or if these leaders continue to allow nothing to change, then nothing's going to change in the outcomes. If we don't change our actions and our policies, nothing's going to change in the reality of gun violence. And that is what we're living with. And I genuinely, as I cover more and more stories, talked about when I guest hosted today on Pac-Man's multiple gun violence stories. Yesterday we talked about multiple stories. I can't even get my head around this being true, that this is what we're living in. People refusing to just take the reasonable steps to regulate these dangerous weapons. It's not revoking your Second Amendment. It's reasonable, common sense solutions that other countries have done, and it's worked, and states have done, and it's made an impact within the United States. But the distorted and incorrect view of the Second Amendment, or those who receive NRA campaign contributions or whatever, gets in the way of that. And as Mayor Craig Greenberg highlighted, if that stays the case, then this reality is going to stay the one that we experience.